Charles Robinson, or more popularly known as Ray Charles. I was born on September 23rd, 1930 in Alpharetta, Georgia, where I grew up with my brother George and my mother Aretha. One day, a tragedy happened. Me and my brother George were playing outside near my mother's laundry tub. George was still 4 years old and I was 5, and George accidentally slid and fell in the laundry tub and drowned. I couldn't do anything about it because I was only 5 years old. It was a sad day. Then, a few months later, after George died and I was still 5, I was starting to become blind because of glaucoma. Then 2 years later, when I was 7 years old, I became completely blind. So my mother, Aretha, taught me how to do things on my own, and she told me how not to become a cripple, and she taught me everything she knew how to do things because I was blind. Then she sent me to St. Augustine, FLA, School for the Blind and the Deaf. When I was 15 and I graduated from high school, my mother Aretha died. Then after her funeral, I went back to St. Augustine, and that was a big mistake because I got expelled for playing a prank on my teacher there. So after a few more months, I decided I would go and play for dance bands and nightclubs. My first job was at a radio station playing piano there too. Then I started playing at dance clubs. Once I played with the Florida Playboys, and I had to dress up like a cowboy. And sometimes to get into the bands, I had to say I was 21 to get in. Then one day, I found the rocking chair. I met a friend there, and there was also a talent show. Although I didn't win the talent show there, I still got offered a job there. So I started working there, playing the piano. Then another band hired me for a job there, but the rocking chair wanted me back because I was attracting so many people that they even offered me to play, and they would pay me twice as much as they did before. Then I started writing my own songs like Georgia on My Mind, and I also had a written song from one of my friends, and it was called Hit the Road Jack. My songs Hit the Road Jack and Georgia on My Mind that were played, they both won Grammy Awards. And I kept playing my songs and writing my songs, and then sooner I created my own record company called Tangerine after my favorite fruit. I'm a famous American because I am mostly known for my musical talent for playing different kinds of instruments, and I am blind too. I'm considered a hero because I was offered to play for a segregated audience, but I turned down to play for it because I wanted to promote equality. I also had a backup singers called the Raylettes. I also sooner made my own band called the Muksun Trio. One place where I sang and played the piano was Apollo. Before anything else, I'm going to play one of my favorite songs, Hit the Road Jack, on the piano for you too. Jason, can you see it? Yeah. Thank you. Right there. Beautiful. Okay, Is it okay if I play Star Wars for the class? Because they all asked me.
How about Georgia on My Mind?
Actually, I haven't learned that one.
Okay, Star Wars.
Yay! Let's see if I can remember it. No. Uh-oh.
Is there anybody here that knows?
I made it up on my own.
Please be courteous.
I don't know if I remember it. Yeah. Okay, I don't remember it. Sorry, guys.
Tell us more about who you are, more about yourself.
Well,
Stay in character.
so I was still writing songs, and I also still had my band, but sooner I lost my band, so I was stuck with the Rillettes. But the Rillettes still did a good job singing for me when I was playing. They were also in most of my songs too when I got them. Also, when I practiced, I also got signed for a contract with Atlantic, and I also play other instruments, not just the piano. And I learned how to play piano when I was back in St. Augustine FLA School for the Blind and Deaf by my teacher Miss Lawrence, and I learned how to play my left hand with my right because I had to use my right hand to feel the braille on the notebook or the music book, and the other way around too. And the way that I got started onto playing the piano was when I was still 5 and I wasn't blind yet, and Jordan was still alive, and we were still living in St. Augustine with my mother Aretha, and I would sneak into Mr. Pittman's Red Wing Cafe, and one day Mr. Pittman caught me, but instead of getting me in trouble, he taught me how to play the piano. He also played Boogie Woogie for me on the piano too. And that's how I got interested in the piano. So I started learning piano ever since Mr. Pittman taught me how to play. And he taught me the first notes, which was C, E flat, and G. Those are the first 3 notes that he taught me. Then on my own, I started learning other notes, and it was a tough challenge because I kept remembering about my brother George and how sad it loss was. But most of the time, I achieved it. And I also have keen hearing because once I was listening to a band of 30 musicians playing, and then I heard one person make a mistake. He was playing a D natural instead of a D sharp out of all of the 30 musicians playing. So I stopped them all and told that violinist to stop and told him to play a D sharp, not a D natural. And I'm also, yeah, that's pretty much it.
He's blind.
Oh, can somebody help call on names for Mr. Charles?
Jason, help me.
Just tell him.
I can't see you. Where are you? Okay.
I'm right here.
I can't see you, girl. Alright.
He's in
Please
front of
choose
you.
somebody.
How did you get him?
Oh, well, I can't really say it because it wouldn't be appropriate for the school. But, should I? Or no?
No.
Yeah.
Alexandra?
Why didn't you do anything like to save your brother? Didn't you call your mom and your mom?
Well, I didn't know that he was drowning. I thought it was just a trick or something. Then my mother, she was doing the laundry. Then she saw it and she asked me why didn't I do anything. I was only 5 and I didn't know what was happening, so I couldn't do anything about it. So
Okay. I
I have a question. I know you can't say how you got ill, but what was that disease you were talking about? How do you get the disease?
Oh, glaucoma?
Yeah.
Well, I always go through these plants, and they gave me glaucoma after a few months. Then that's how I was starting to become partially blind, almost blind, and then completely blind.
Interesting. Were you ever in a band?
Jameson?
Were you ever in a band?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I created my own band and called the McSun Trio, as I said, and I also joined dance bands and nightclubs.
Well, we know that.
When did you die?
Oh, I died when I was 73, and I died in 2003.
Sean, from your disease, what effects happened?
Well, at first I didn't know what was happening. Then my eyes started getting all teary, and my mother said that the doctors didn't know what to do because they didn't have any cure for my blindness. So my mother just taught me everything, and then she sent me to St. Augustine.
Alexandra.
Did you ever get married or have kids?
Yes, but I don't know my wife or my kid's name. Well, I have 2 sons though. I have 2 sons.
What did you die from?
Well, I think it's mostly from age. I died from age.
Okay.
Nobody else.
Well, let me get a picture of you from my camera, just so I can add that to my collection. So if you could just make your way back to your piano, and we're gonna let Jason go sit down, please. And okay. So 1, 2, 3. Perfect. You knew exactly where I was standing by the sound of my voice.
And can I play the entertainer for the class? They've all wanted me to play.
Wait a minute, are you Scott Joplin or Ray Charles?
No, it's just a song that I learned.
So maybe we should break out of character now
Sure.
and not be Ray Charles so people don't get confused. Okay, now this is a different composer. So we're done. That was a fabulous performance of Ray Charles, and now we're doing just some fun.
That's not his piano, that's why.
Yeah, it's hard. I can appreciate how much you practiced when you were performing your Ray Charles song, because that came through perfectly.
Oh no. Wait, let me just try this one.
Do you know anything else?
Thank you very much. Wow, what a wonderful performance.